Hello, ladies and gentlemen, listeners all over. Welcome to the Busted Knees and Pretty Trees podcast, a podcast brought to you by your favorite middle-aged trail stormers. Myself, Travis J. White, that guy over there, Brad Greer, and that other guy over there, Patty Richardson. Today, on the second episode, we are going to go over a bit of the latest news coming from the backcountry, our first steps to planning a backpacking trip, and some of our favorite and least favorite gear on the trail. Hello, everybody. Travis here with Brad and Patrick. I figured we'd start this episode out today by asking you guys how you're doing and just kind of something that was interesting that happened to you this week. Patrick?
Nice, dude. Well, I am doing pretty damn good. It's been a great week. We got so excited about recording the last podcast that we're back here on another Saturday night in the dungeon, gear room, whatever we want to call it. Something great that happened to me today, or this week, I guess. Let's see. I went to the antique shop today, and we bought a Millennium Falcon for Sebastian. Got a darn good price on it. And
I saw that thing upstairs.
Dude,
that looks pretty nice.
It's awesome. It's big enough for G.I. Joes. It's a Nerf Millennium Falcon, so it actually shoots Nerf bullets at you.
That's awesome.
I didn't know they made those.
Me neither. Had no idea. We got a huge, I thought it was a good deal, and I just thought it was like a model of the Millennium Falcon. Then there was tons of little gates and doors that you could open, and then I was messing with it. I noticed there's a little place for a screwdriver. Opened it up, 2 batteries, had 2 batteries, put them in, and then now it makes sound effects. If you hold it steady, it goes into idle mode. You can hear the engine go into idle mode. And then when you land it, it goes...
Sounds like more of
Super
a
cool.
toy for Patrick than for Bazzy.
No shit. When I was cleaning the house earlier and flying that from room to room. And I told Ashley that I just couldn't find a place to put it. Because it is pretty big, too. It's 2.5 feet long by probably a foot and a half feet wide. Dude, it is awesome. Anyway, so that's a really great thing that happened to me this week.
Yeah.
Brad?
I guess the best thing that's happened to me this week is I've been struggling with my sourdough bread. The loaves just haven't been rising like they used to. And today was the first day in 3 weeks that I got a good bake. So
Congratulations, dude.
Nice.
it's like a weight off my shoulders. How was your week, Travis?
Well, after we recorded that podcast, I was pretty stoked about it. After Patrick did all the mixing and editing and everything, and we listened to it, I thought it sounded pretty good, and I got really excited. I think we all did, and so yeah, I was pretty happy about that. And then my car took a dump, so I need to get an engine replaced for $12,500. So I was like, screw it, I'm gonna buy a truck. So I'm actually excited about the truck. It didn't faze me at all, and I think that's because I was so happy about episode 1. An
Overlander truck, too.
Well,
yeah,
not just any miserable old truck.
I don't know how much I dream of doing overlanding with it one day, but we'll see.
Yeah, I think it'd be awesome.
Well, fellas, do you want to talk about some news from the outdoors?
Yeah.
Yeah. I actually have 2 stories for you.
Lay it on us.
Let's go.
All right, so there's a couple from Arizona named Daryl and Kathleen Tumpkin.
Tumpkin?
Tumpkin.
Tumpkin.
Toumpkin.
Oh, Tumpkin.
Tumpkin.
All right, I'll go with that.
That's an odd one.
Yeah.
So they completed a milestone of visiting all 431 national parks.
Whoa.
Yeah. Is that not crazy? So I looked up, because I thought I didn't think there was 431 national parks, and that even includes battlefields like Gettysburg, military parks, lake shores like Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore, monuments, preserves, seashores. I think some of them are even in Puerto Rico. I mean, that's it's a journey just to visit all the 65 parks. How you
I think I've gone to a lot of them, and I don't feel like now I've gone to anything.
Yeah, 431.
Dude, good for them. When they start, the 80s you said earlier?
Yeah, so they started in the 80s, and then they really picked up their pace in 2004 when they got a couple of puppies and an RV and hit the road.
What better reason?
And they would do 7 weeks at a time.
Did they have like a nest that they could go back to?
I'm not sure. I would assume since it's a local story, their base of operations must be out of Phoenix.
What's the next one? Yeah,
so the next story I have is about the Land and Water Conservation Fund. It was a couple years ago, like a bill came up, and it was either, I think it was to kind of re-up the fund, or I don't think it was like to create it. I think it was already in place. And the big controversy is that this fund gets its money from leasing offshore gas and oil rights to companies that then pay the government to lease that land that they're going to drill. So all of that money that the government makes from those leases goes into this Land and Water Conservation Fund.
Nice.
And that fund is meant to go back into conservation efforts through parks and everything. So they just announced that through this fund and works with the National Park Service, they're going to invest $254.68 million into 54 different projects in 24 states.
Holy moly.
For redevelopment or creation of local parks.
Dang, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, it's
Let's
pretty cool.
Let's go, government.
Yeah. And if you're interested, if there's a park close to you that's on the list, if you go to the National Park Service or Google National Park Service Fund.
I hope the Hoosier State got a little bit.
They have a good list of parks that this money's going to. And no, they're unfortunately none in Indiana received any funding.
Oh,
but
you just broke my heart.
Yeah, I know. You just broke Travis's heart.
But I think we have some pretty good parks, especially if it's creating new parks for other people to get to go enjoy. I'm all about that.
Yeah, so am I.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
They can have my money.
I'm a little jealous. That's all.
We're going to get ours eventually.
Yeah.
Let's give 54 parks a go.
Indiana did just get their first national park, so.
What?
Yeah. Dunes National Park.
Just, though? You said just.
Well, I mean, like what?
Last week?
10, 15 years ago?
Really?
How long ago was it?
I have no idea.
I don't think it was.
That's interesting.
It wasn't that long ago.
No kidding.
It may not even.
It
be
actually
more than 10
surprised me
it.
when I heard like Dunes National Park. I was like, wait, what?
It's
Indiana Dunes National Park?
It is very pretty.
I think it might have even been in the last 5 years.
I was like, oh, I didn't know it was a national
park.
park.
Not been 5 years.
We have some live Googling.
Yeah, let's Google this.
February 15th, 2019.
No shit.
What was it before it was a national park?
It was a state park, I think, before.
Like Warren Dunes. I remember going to the Warren Dunes as a kid.
Maybe it was
that's more up in Michigan.
Maybe it was like another, like one of those, like quote unquote national parks.
Yeah.
That wasn't an actual official
like
national
a national
park.
lakeshore dune or something.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
I should have done further research on my news article.
We're on the map.
I have a little trivia for you. Do you know the newest national park in America? Do you know what that is?
It is New River Gorge.
New River Gorge in West Virginia.
I only know that because you visited there.
That's right. I took Sebastian there for a spring break this past year, and we did a little bit of camping. He did his first overnight backpacking trip down there.
I remember you talking about that.
We only did about like 5 miles or whatever, but he carried his own pack, carried everything with him, food and everything included.
Very nice.
It's also the whitewater there is apparently like world class. So it's definitely on my list to get down to, and the river ride.
Oh yeah, that'd be fun.
Nice.
River riding, dude.
Yeah, so that's what kind of stuff the Land and Water Conservation Fund apparently goes to. So
very good.
It's good to see some legislation actually coming to fruition.
I agree.
I do have one more thing I forgot to tell you guys about Daryl, who visited 431 national parks.
Do say?
Because he had a quote that I loved. Like, speaking of national parks.
I love a good quote.
The reporter asked Daryl what was his favorite park, and he said, I do have my favorites, but honestly, it's really the next park that you go to visit in my book that's the favorite, because you never know what you're going to come across.
Oh, man.
Daryl sounds like an awesome guy.
Daryl Toomkin for the win
he knows.
Quote of the day.
That was awesome.
That's my whole thing is I don't want to watch the videos you send and the pictures and all that. I want to see it. Like, I don't want to know what's coming around
firsthand.
Yeah.
That's a great
Not even
quote.
an idea.
Yeah.
All right, guys, this is a backpacking podcast, so let's talk about some backpacking stuff. I guess probably one of the first things you want to know when you're going to go backpacking is where you want to go.
Yeah.
Brad, you pretty much do all the planning. I know, Patrick, you helped a lot, but I kind of sit on the sidelines and let you guys do all that very important stuff, which I really appreciate. So, Brad, tell us how you even begin to plan that.
It kind of started with how much we love national parks, and that's where we like to go backpacking.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And we try to choose ones that have a lot of backcountry area. So, and I can't remember why we chose Grand Tetons.
Well,
I think
it was you, man. Yeah, absolutely.
Call.
I think we were talking about this. We said something like, "Hey, we should go backpacking." And then I think I said, "Well, what's a place on your list?" And you just kind of randomly said the Tetons.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it is kind of one of those things where it's one of those parks that maybe you don't hear as much about and you might be hearing more about. And like last year we went to Pictured Rocks National Lakeshore. An amazing park.
Beautiful.
It's absolutely beautiful, but it's one that you don't hear much about.
No, you
never heard of it.
So that's what I look for. I kind of try to find ones that maybe not so many people are at. We'll probably get into that at some point later on, but it's definitely a challenge. Once we kind of narrow down a park and kind of based on time of year, like Tetons, there's kind of a specific window where the snow melts, but it's also not snowing again the next year.
Yep.
So that's going to be around August, basically. So
unless you want to pack some crampons and an ice pick or something with you.
That kind of narrows it down if there's a certain month where somebody can't go on a trip.
Yeah.
So that'll help narrow it down for which park we go to. But once we pick a park, it's really easy just to Google Shenandoah National Park backpacking trips.
I use all
How
trails.
to.
Yeah, and usually it is All Trails that comes up, and
Free.
they have a lot of great recommendations.
They do, yeah.
Which, like the next one that I'm looking at in Shenandoah, I think has the highest rating on All Trails. It's pretty up there in the ratings.
Difficulty?
Like extreme difficulty or something.
Oh, lovely.
What's the trail?
Old Stony Loop.
Yep.
I believe.
Yep. I saw that
which
one.
includes the Old Stony Mountain.
Are you saying this is a possibility?
Oh, yeah, in the
for
spring.
another trip?
Yeah, that's
I'm gonna
kind
have to have my. Is it donkey? Can donkeys get up and down?
Well, that's
First
kind
you
of.
have to buy a donkey.
I can rent one, maybe.
You can maybe rent one.
Adopt one.
Yeah.
That's kind of one of the reasons we're talking about this, because we're planning a spring trip, and then we also are fresh off of our fall trip this year.
Yep.
So planning a trip is kind of on our minds right now.
I'm so glad to have you guys that like doing that stuff.
Yeah, Travis, you're very hands off on that. What I like about you is that you're hands off in that regard, and then you're also no opinion after the decision has been made. Because I know a lot of hands-off people that once they're happy for somebody else to make that decision, but then once that decision's made, then that's when the opinions start flooding in.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know
that's
what I mean?
when I start
Whereas
going.
opposed to you're the exact opposite.
Oh,
or, no,
okay.
not
Yeah,
the exact opposite.
Like you
I
don't,
suppose.
you don't.
Yeah, you're very
get
much
upset.
like, no, you guys take the reign, and then when we have it planned, you're like, that sounds great. And then we're like, all right, we're going to do this on this night and this on this night. You're like, that all sounds great. So like every step of the way, you're just like, just tell me when to
I was
be
just
there.
happy to be there.
Yeah.
That's all.
And
I
when
was
it
just happy
goes
to be
wrong,
there.
he's like, okay, that's we'll figure it out.
We'll figure that out. You're very good at it. I think one of the things for all of our listeners out there that are trying to get into backpacking, trying to plan a trip, is pay attention to when those permits open.
Yes.
Generally, it's sometime in January at the beginning of the year for then that year. So 6 months out is how that goes, right?
Yeah.
So just before that,
every park's different.
All right, guys, we got to move this podcast along. So I think I'm kind of interested in what kind of gear you guys enjoy having on the trail and what gear you don't. Patrick?
Okay, well, I guess to start with, the gear that I don't like having on trail, and we were just discussing this off air or whatever it is when we're not recording.
Off mic.
Off mic, sure. Yeah, that's it. Is going to be my bear canister. Brad's a little worried that we're going to discourage people from not using a bear canister. But I am not worried at all because it is up to national park standard. If you want to go backpacking in some national parks, you have to have one. But it is a giant pain in my fucking ass, dude. That bear canister is one giant cylinder that takes up the entire portion of my 65-liter Osprey Atmos.
And we all bought the rigid plastic one, right?
Yeah, because the other one looks even worse. It looks like RoboCop. And RoboCop is clunky and disgusting.
And it weighs like 1.2 pounds.
It does weigh one without anything. Right. Well, obviously, that's what you're saying. Without anything in it. So that is my least favorite thing that I've ever taken on trail, ever.
Yeah. What's one of the favorite things that you...
So my favorite thing was something that Brad convinced me into purchasing. I know a lot of backpackers, including ultralight backpackers, or mostly ultralight backpackers, think that this is an absolute non-necessity.
Heresy.
Heresy. Do you know what I'm about to say?
I think I.
None of these guys know. We don't know each other's lists, so we're all learning these things together.
Yeah.
But do you take a guess?
Your camping chair.
My camping chair.
Yeah.
You're entirely correct. Yes, that
was a big advocate of that.
You were a big advocate of it, and I went above and beyond. I think at the time I bought the chair, it was the #1 rated backpacking chair out there.
Damn.
I know. I
fancy boy.
It's right there. I couldn't.
Man, I thought Brad was the guy with the gear.
Whatever the fuck. And it was awesome. It has been awesome. I use it often. I use it in my backyard. But with the backpacking, it added no extra weight. I had a secondary pouch or a pocket on the side of my pack, so that's where it went into. And it was just nice that when we were cooking at the end of the day, when my legs were exhausted, my busted knees were exhausted, to be able to kick back with a chair and a backrest was just really nice. And I'm a big guy too. Like I'm 6'2", 6'3" on a great day.
They don't look very sturdy, but
they're unbelievable. I mean, 250. I was down to 250. I lost 20-something pounds, 26 pounds to get on this trail. I was down to 250, and that chair still held me like a beast. So I just think that's great.
Even if you're off your feet in that chair for like 15-20 minutes, I feel like it makes a huge difference.
Man, it was so nice. And it wasn't just having a place to sit, it was having the backrest to me.
Yeah, you're not sitting like you're not on the hard ground sitting up against a rock or something.
Yeah, you know,
like you're actually
I understood that in Michigan when I finally sat in your chair. And then but
you didn't bring a chair.
No, I was thinking about doing it, but then I bought that fucking bear can and I was like, like, why carry two chairs? Like, it didn't make any sense.
Travis
bear can's a perfect chair.
Yeah, it didn't make any sense. So
that's Travis for
Bradley, what about you?
My favorite piece of gear is my Zen Bivy core bed. So it's a quilt that has a sheet that you wrap around your sleeping pad, and then your quilt fastens into that sheet. So not only do you have more insulation between the ground and you, but you also can toss and turn all night, and the quilt's going to stay in place like a sheet on your bed. So
not like the little fleece blanket that I bring that gets twisted in every impossible way I could think of, and it takes me 20 minutes to get it unraveled.
Yeah, it's perfect for somebody that tosses and turns or likes to sleep on their side or stomach, because like the quilt stays there the whole night, and it has a nice hood that kind of acts as a headboard for your pillows, or you can stuff whatever you want. Like I put my puffy jacket and my pillow in that hood, and it's an awesome pillow.
I would kill for a stable sleeping environment.
Like that was one of the things that always drove me crazy.
Pillow.
My pillow is everywhere. I've tried like 3 different pillows, and they're always never under my head. And
this hood is insulated too, so you can also stick your head under that hood.
Well, that's like my my mummy bag, though.
Yeah.
Has that.
But this is like a 3-foot wide hood.
Oh, wow.
So
it doesn't
whoosh
seem like it's choking you out like a mummy bag.
How about something bad you
I mean,
don't
I guess
want on the trail there?
I guess
not bad. Something you didn't It was a pain in the ass.
Like I guess I would also say the bear can.
Yeah, it's going to be the bear can with all of us. Maybe Travis is wrong. Maybe I'm wrong with Travis.
Yeah, I might be thinking something different.
I feel like it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it was like you keep thinking as the trip goes on, that bear can's going to get emptier and emptier, but somehow it seems to get more and more full the entire trip and harder to close after every campsite.
It's such a pain in the ass to open and close.
It's so clunky.
Like it almost, like my organized brain thought like, oh, this is great. I have everything in one protected container.
Yeah.
Like I can put, if I had any, I don't know what my fragile items would be, like my phone or something.
Yeah.
But it's like, in my brain, I thought it wouldn't be so bad, but it really sucked.
It did suck.
My favorite thing is my tent.
Oh,
that is on the ground.
There you go.
And I think it's more of a, like, I don't know, I've just become attached to it, and I have a loyalty to it now, and it is kind of a luxury tent, and I'm willing to carry that thing, even if it starts getting mold and it weighs a little bit more. I'll put it in the pack and bring it on the next trip.
You'll bleach the mold and rock through it.
Yeah.
That tent is tremendous.
Oh,
and I'm pretty tough on that tent. Like, I don't really baby it.
No,
I stuff it in that sack.
Do you use a
jam
footprint?
those poles around. I use a footprint.
You do use a footprint?
Yeah, definitely.
Cool.
Yeah, because it was like I used that same tent for quite a few years, and I got my new one that was also a 2-person. It's the Big Agnes Copper Spur, and it's about half the size of the North Face 2-person tent.
Yeah. But the quality is amazing. It's held up. It's held better than my pack. I have a North Face pack that I bought at around the same time, and that thing's falling apart. I've had to tie some ripped parts of it together.
Yeah, you have.
So.
Travis, you gave us your most favorite, right?
Yeah.
What is your least favorite gear on trail?
Well, I think I'm just going to follow the crowd, and it's that
I
fucking
knew it,
bear can,
I
man.
knew it. I fucking knew it.
Yeah, I think there's everything that needs to be said has been said, so I think we should sign off the podcast.
Well, really quick, I do want to say, because Brad is concerned that we're going to talk people out of using a bear canister, and there are. So while it is clunky, while it is big, and while it was the nemesis, my largest nemesis on any backpacking trail I've ever been on, I will also say that in national parks where there are large bear or any bear, that it is a great thing. And Brad and I have talked a couple times that maybe this, as much as we didn't like it, if we learn how to accept it and move forward, that maybe the bear canister might end up being like a staple that we take with us.
Yeah, it's definitely a necessary thing, and you have to understand that, like, if bears find, a resource of food out there, people are just bringing it out and it's unprotected, they're going to be around more often.
Yeah.
And we're going to have more problems.
Yeah, that's what some people forget, that it's not just about protecting your food or keeping yourself safe.
It's not about you.
It's keeping the bears safe.
Yeah.
That's right.
They're not eating your food.
And while I do agree with that, it was also nice, like, if you do take an Ursack, if you do hang your food, that there is a whole nother element that goes into doing that in terms of getting it over a high enough tree limb.
And that's really fun, actually,
and
if you could do that.
It is fun, but also having a bear canister was, you're walking it out 100 yards away from where you're going to sleep. You set it on the ground or tuck it in. We generally tucked it in between like a couple bushes or under a rock or something like that, and then being done.
Yeah.
So there was, you take off about 30, 45 minutes out of your day, out of your evening when you're at a camp zone or at your campsite, just for that ease.
Yeah.
And you hope it's there in the morning.
Yeah, it's best. Like, a lot of people get hurt in national parks, and it's best to kind of follow the rules that they set forth, because they're there for a reason.
But bitch all the way through.
Yeah, definitely bitch about it.
No doubt.
Yeah.
All right, fellas, I think it's the end of the episode. So do we have any final thoughts about anything?
Yeah, go visit a local park.
All right.
Damn. That was short, concise, and
nice
sweet,
and easy.
dude.
To the point.
Patrick?
You know what, dude? I'm going to piggyback off that. I had something, but I think that's perfect. Go visit a local park.
Yeah.
Go outside.
you
no matter
will
where
be,
you
no matter where you go, you will be absolutely surprised
It's almost fall.
by what you see.
That's
Get out
wonderful.
Yeah, hurry the hell up. All right, guys, you ready to get out of the basement?
Yeah, I'm pretty
Let's
good.
Get out of here.
All right, well, let's get out of here. Thanks, everybody, for listening to this episode, and I hope you all keep on sauntering.